Justice with Judge Meblean will be life, because in everything we do, it involves the law.
You came to court to testify about what you heard, what you saw, and what you know.
She's fair.
I don't have a hearing problem. This ear works good. This one works even better.
She's firm.
I'm not responsible for that ticket, and I'm not going to pay for it.
Who says you're not going to pay for it? I make that decision, not you.
She's honest.
What you have to say?
All I have to
Nothing.
say.
This is Justice with Judge Meblean. Maria de la Cruz is suing Caroline Snodley on behalf of St. Xavier Catholic School in the amount of $20,000. She believes her civil rights were violated when the defendant fired her for having a child out of wedlock.
All parties are sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may be seated. This is the matter of Maria de la Cruz versus Caroline Snodley on behalf of St. Xavier Catholic School. And Ms. de la Cruz, you're suing the school for $20,000. What happened?
Well, I believe that I was wrongfully terminated by having a child out of wedlock.
You were a teacher at a Catholic school?
Yes, for 9 years.
Okay. And what happened?
And I had a child. I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years that I've been living with, and we had a child. We planned to get married. Unfortunately, he turned violence on me, mentally and physically, that we had to go on our separate ways.
You had the child before you were terminated?
Yes. The child is 5 months old.
And the school terminated you on what premise, Ms. Snodley?
On the premise that she broke her moral code of conduct that's in her employment contract, that she signed, she's fully aware of.
Now, was she terminated while she was pregnant or after she delivered?
She was terminated 4 months into the pregnancy. I think it's important to understand that I received many phone calls from parents of the students in her class with a rumor that she was pregnant. We had no idea that she was pregnant.
So how would the parents of the students know that she was pregnant? And she's coming to school every day and you guys don't know.
I was going to let them know.
The students told their parents, and the parents called the Board of Regents, and we started to investigate, and we had a meeting, and we had to come to a decision.
You didn't know, you couldn't tell that she was pregnant, is that it?
Well, I'm not in her class. I'm the president of the Board of Regents, so I represent the community in this case.
All right, so the Board of Regents received calls. The parents received statements from the students saying that she was pregnant. The parents called the school called the Board of Regents. You all had a meeting, decided to terminate her for violation of the morals code, the moral conduct code.
Yes.
May I see that code?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you recall signing a moral conduct code when you became an employee of the school?
Yes, I sure do, 9 years ago.
And do you recall what that moral conduct code said and what it prohibited?
Yes.
What did it say?
They don't believe in having a child without not being married.
The Code of Conduct, Your Honor, states that improper or immoral behavior, according to our institution at St. Xavier Catholic School, or according to the word of our Lord.
So what's the immoral behavior according to the school or the word of your Lord?
We believe it's pregnancy out of wedlock.
Okay. I'm also
so
devoted
you believe that no
Catholic.
fornication, right?
We believe it's a mortal sin to engage in
and
sex
also
and
it is a mortal
Yes, Your
sin
Honor.
to have an abortion. I am a devoted Catholic. I don't believe in abortion.
So you have a moral sin to abort and a moral sin to engage in sexual behavior. We call it fornication without the benefit of marriage.
That's right.
And so she violated the moral sin of fornication.
Yes, Your Honor.
And does that apply for both male and females?
It does, Your Honor.
Conduct that is considered to be inappropriate or immoral with regard to any of the aforementioned institutional standards or the word of the Lord will not be tolerated and could be subject to fiscal or disciplinary punishment. So it doesn't say, is she entitled to a hearing? Did she have a hearing of any kind?
No, Your Honor, we had
Did you
a
ever
meeting
meet
of...
with her?
No, Your Honor. We had a meeting of the Board of Regents, which included Father O'Malley, so 2 other members and myself. We received over 10 phone calls out of 20 students from parents.
I got that, but who? You didn't know know she was pregnant. You didn't see her as pregnant. So who confirmed her pregnancy if you didn't bring her before the Board of Regents?
Well, I went down to her classroom, pulled her out of class, and fired her on the spot when I saw that she was showing.
So she wasn't able to come to the hearing and say anything?
There was no hearing, Your Honor.
How did you know she wasn't married?
We heard
It doesn't take long to
That's
get married.
exactly, we planned to get married.
How did you know at the termination meeting that you and the board went to, how did you all come to the conclusion that she was unmarried and that her pregnancy was fornicated, was an act of fornication?
Well, we heard from the parents of the children.
Heard from the parents?
Yes, Your Honor.
How they know how she got pregnant? Were they there?
No, Your Honor.
You're not telling me that an intelligent board of regents from a prestigious Catholic school took the word of parents that someone was pregnant and unmarried and never confirmed from the person herself? Are you telling me that?
Well, Your Honor, this is a very small community. There are only 250 students. Everybody knows everybody's business.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Meblean.
The immoral behavior was pregnant outside of marriage. Where is the proof she was pregnant outside of marriage prior to the termination?
It was impossible not to see that she was pregnant.
And later.
And then I heard a terrifying sound. I ran to the corner and I saw that air conditioner fall on my dog.
Justice with Judge Meblean. You're watching Justice with Judge Meblean. We're back with the case of Maria de la Cruz, who is suing Caroline Snodley on behalf of St. Xavier Catholic School for wrongful termination.
Let me talk to your witness. What you have to say, Mr. Sir? Come forward.
Yeah,
Mr. Soriano, what's your role here?
Well, I've been teaching at this Catholic school for 10 years now, and I've known Miss Maria. I mean, she has been an exemplary teacher. I mean, the kids look up to her. So when I hear about this marriage thing or this pregnancy thing, I'm just like totally shocked. But what I see as an experienced teacher right there in the front lines, right there in the battlefield, I see that she is a role model to the children. In fact, a lot of these kids have gone on to prestigious universities because of her tutelage, Your Honor.
What about that? When you say she's not a good role model?
Your Honor, we're not talking about her teaching now. We're talking about her moral character and breaking the moral code.
What if somebody curses at students? What would you do about that?
That's
you don't
improper.
Call that immoral?
She'd be caught up. Yes, she'd be called up on the board.
What about forgiveness? She's not entitled to forgiveness for her wrongs, for what is wrong. Where's the forgiveness?
We're not questioning.
So couldn't you have just suspended her during the last 4 months?
We don't think she's a good role model as she takes a baby out of wedlock to term.
It is the 21st century. It is against biblical principles to have and become pregnant outside of marriage. It's called fornication. You get pregnant because you're fornicating. Fornicating is having sex without the benefit of marriage, and you're well aware of that code, and you're well aware of the Catholic belief, and you live together for 5 years with the man. Here's my confusion, is that you lived with him for 5 years, and no one bothered to ask what you were doing. And here's what puzzles me more, is that you did not confirm prior to the termination that you had grounds. You took hearsay from parents. You took hearsay from students and everybody else that this woman wasn't married. You didn't even bother to confirm your facts before you terminated her. You at least should have gone to her and say, you know what, we've heard, and can you tell us what the circumstances are? Because she could have gotten married out of state. It only takes, a second to get married. It took a long time to get married, but you did not confirm the facts. You say, I terminated her because of immoral behavior. The immoral behavior was pregnant outside of marriage. Where is the proof she was pregnant outside of marriage prior to the termination?
It was impossible not to see that she was pregnant.
You didn't know whether she was married or not, though.
That's true.
Oh, so since that's true, you terminated her at that point without cause because you didn't have the facts.
It was a firestorm.
Well, here's the bigger firestorm. Pay her $20,000.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's the order of the court.
You.
All rise.
Judge Meblean has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $20,000.
I'm happy with my baby, and I'm happy to not work for you.
You just should have followed our moral code.
Coming up,
And then I heard a terrifying sound, like a bomb was falling from the sky, and I saw that air conditioner fall on my dog.
Justice with Judge Meblean. You're watching Justice with Judge Meblean. Marcia Petrov is suing her landlord, Jeff Anderson, in the amount of $2,150. She claims the defendant is responsible for an air conditioning unit that fell on her dog and killed it.
In the matter of Marcia Petrov versus Jeff Anderson, suing for $2,150 because the air conditioner killed your dog?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow, that's a new one. How did this happen?
I took my dog, as usually, in my purse, dog purse, for a walk. And then my dog, unfortunately, saw a squirrel and jumped out from the purse and ran after the squirrel into that very corner. And then I heard a terrifying sound, like a bomb was falling from the sky. And then the sounds of my poor dog crying for help. I ran to the corner and I saw that air conditioner from the third floor fall on my dog.
Okay, the air conditioner from the third floor of where? Take me back. Where were you walking the dog?
Is that our
In my
apartment complex?
courtyard.
In your apartment courtyard?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and it was a 3-story building.
Yes.
And you said you had the dog, you took him out of his bag, his carrier. Why did you have the dog in the carrier?
Because dogs are against the rules, Your Honor.
Against what rules?
Against the rules of the apartment.
Oh, you live in the same building?
I am the landlord and the owner.
Oh.
This is correct.
Okay, Mr. Landlord and owner, tell me what was going on. So you were installing an air conditioner or something?
No, Your Honor. I have owned and operated it for the last 10 years. Okay? The specific unit that the conditioner fell from is owned by a gentleman named Mark.
Okay.
He's a handyman. Okay? Anytime he needs to fix anything in his unit, I let him do it.
Okay.
I inspect it after he, does it or repairs it, and everything is okay. Everything is up to code. Everything is done correctly.
So this tenant was repairing an air conditioner or replacing or installing one?
Correct. There was an air conditioner on his unit that had broke. Okay. So he needed to remove the old one and install the new one.
Okay.
And he asked me if I was okay with him doing that, and as he had done work like that before, I said yes. And I looked at it after he had installed it completely, and it was done correctly. Okay.
Well, you said something about dogs are not permitted on the property.
Dogs are not permitted. Neither are cats. Okay. What happened to her dog was an unfortunate freak accident. The plaintiff has my fullest apologies and sympathies, but this entire case is based on her breaking the rules.
And what rules were those? The rules of the tenancy?
Rule number 5 at Hudson Terrace.
Let me see.
And that is the signed and dated rule sheet, Your Honor. Rule number 5, Hudson Terrace does not allow dogs or cats to live on the premises. Signed and dated by the plaintiff. She has known this entire time that dogs are not allowed at the apartments. Okay? You hear from her own mouth that she has to walk her dog in a bag to keep it from being seen. Okay? Mind you,
No, she didn't say all that yet. I asked her why was the dog in the bag, but she didn't answer me yet. Now I'm going to ask her again. Why was your dog in the bag?
Because
in your apartment courtyard?
Because the dog is not permitted in the facility.
And you have a dog living in your apartment building?
Yes.
And the landlord didn't know it?
No.
How
For
long
3
have you
months,
been hiding this dog in the apartment?
Because my dog is a very well-trained companion. It's not just any wild dog. It's my soulmate.
Coming up.
Your landlord should have been made aware of it. Sounds like you were sneaking the dog.
Closed captioning provided by. You're watching Justice with Judge Meblean. We're back with the case of Marcia Petrov, who is suing Jeff Anderson for emotional distress.
Do you have, I know there are all kind of rules regarding dogs these days, and there is something that's called the companionship dog. Of course, you have the dog for seeing eye, for disabled, but for each of those you have to get a certificate and say that you are required to and allowed to have this dog for psychological purposes, and that certificate has to be given to you by a doctor, and you have to carry it at all times. And certainly, if that was the case, your landlord should have been made aware of it, because you should have shown it to him.
Yes.
Sounds like you were sneaking the dog.
Yes, Your Honor.
So when you moved in and you signed this agreement,
yes,
you lied.
partially. Because
Partially?
for me, it's not a dog. If you know...
Well, you know, a dog is a dog is a dog. Now, what it means to you is different than what a dog means to me.
Exactly.
But a dog is a dog is a dog. Now, you treat it like a child. You play with it like a child. You can do anything else with it and pretend that it's a child.
It's not
to
a child
you.
for me.
To
it's
you.
not a child.
Huh?
For me, it's not a child.
What is it to you?
It's a savior. Because after my very hard divorce with my very abusive husband, I have found only one savior. It's a dog.
One companion.
One companion who loves me unconditionally, who never humiliate me.
They say all dogs love their owners unconditionally. That's why it says
Yeah.
dog is a man's best friend.
Yes.
Let me see
That's what
that
I want to
dog, a
say.
picture of your loving dog.
Yes, please. This dog cannot harm anyone.
What's it? Oh, it is a cute little poodle. Is
Yes,
that a
it is.
poodle? I don't know one dog from the other. What is it? I said poodle,
It's
honey.
a
Please
York.
forgive me.
It's a York.
It's a York.
Yes. And his name was Mongo.
What?
Mongo.
Mongo.
Yes, it was his name.
Is that a pedigree? One of those special dogs that cost a lot? Cost about $2,000-$3,000. Is that what you had?
It's a pretty expensive dog.
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. Promotional consideration provided by... You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean.
I empathize with you, but if the dog had not been where the dog was not supposed to be, and that was because of you, the dog would not have been killed. So you contributed to the death of the dog because you had the dog at an apartment complex where he was not supposed to be. The person installing the air conditioner was doing what he was allowed to do, and there was an accident. And he may have been pushing it out the window. I don't know. But the point is, it's not his responsibility for the death of your dog because your dog was in a place that he did not belong at that time. So I do judgment for the defendant. But what I'm going to suggest to you, since dogs have such an emotional appeal to you, is before you purchase it, when you purchase another one, make sure you get that certification from your doctor, all right? So you'll be able to have it with you at all times. So judgment for the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
I don't know how this case even got this far. The judge did the right thing.
I believe that people and their feelings should go first before any rules.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.
Justice with Judge Mablean will be life because in everything we do, it involves the law. You came to court to testify about what you heard, what you saw, and what you know.
She's fair.
I don't have a hearing problem. This ear works good. This one works even better.
She's firm.
I'm not responsible for that ticket, and I'm not going to pay for it.
Who says you're not going to pay for it? I make that decision, not you.
She's honest.
What you have to say?
All I have to
Nothing.
say.
This is Justice with Judge Mablean. Whitney Lee is suing baseball stadium employee Bobby Reynolds in the amount of $2,850. She says the defendant broke her glasses and caused her public humiliation while attending a sporting event.
This is the matter of Whitney Lee versus Bobby Reynolds suing Mr. Reynolds for $2,850 for an incident occurring at a baseball game. Tell me about it, Ms. Lee.
Your Honor, I was on a date with a very nice man. It was my first in a long time. I'm a little nervous about going out in public because I have a problem with my hair. It thins and I'm getting a little bald. And anyway, we went to a baseball game, the local baseball game. I'm not a big baseball fan, but I wanted to share some of his interests, so I went anyway. And we were having a very nice time so far. And at one point, a fan had ordered some peanuts. And the next thing I know, my glasses had been knocked off my face and they broke. And my wig had come off. And
wow. From throwing peanuts?
Yeah. Yeah. And it turns out that the peanut sack hit me in the head so hard, everything came off.
One package of peanuts?
One package,
bag?
Yes. It was a big bag of nuts.
Yeah, I know from the baseball games. Wow.
And what made things even worse was that all this happened on the Jumbotron.
Oh, my goodness.
So everybody in the stadium got to see it. It was a local game. It was televised, so everybody on television saw this. And it was just so humiliating. I just couldn't stand it. So I got up and I left this very nice man alone, and I just hailed a cab and ran. And before I got out of there, a bunch of drunk guys saw me, and they laughed at me and called me the peanut sack lady and threw peanuts at me, and I just had to leave.
How did we amass this $3,850 or $2,850?
Well, this thing just, you know, it embarrassed me so much. It was so humiliating. I just couldn't work.
You couldn't work?
I couldn't work. I had to get new glasses. That was expensive.
Yeah.
And I've been undergoing therapy.
Really?
I've had extreme, you know, hardship, extreme emotional distress because of all of this.
What happened over there, Mr. Reynolds?
Your Honor, it was a normal day at the ball game. I work all the local Evansville games for the Hawkeyes. I'm a peanut barker.
A peanut what?
Peanut barker.
What that mean? You yell out,
I yell out
peanuts, peanuts,
exactly.
peanuts.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
And it was a packed game. It was a rival, and I was selling a lot of peanuts. I was tossing a lot of bags that day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was towards the end of the game, and I was, my arm was starting to get a little tired, a little sore, and a fan around Miss Lee's area ordered a bag of nuts. So I did my thing. I usually do a little dance, a little wind up. I used to be a pitcher. And I tossed it at the fan, and at that moment in time, Miss Lee had leaned forward and looked up and wasn't paying attention. So
the fan was like in the middle of the row?
It was one row down from her.
One row down from her?
Past her, yes. So.
Oh, the row in front of her?
Correct.
Oh, your pitch was off.
It was off a little bit.
You were way off.
It was way off.
It was not that off. It was not that off.
Yeah, it was.
She should have been paying attention.
Is that your response? She should have been paying attention? Yeah. What if I take this thing right here and throw it at you? What you would say?
I'd be looking.
That you should have been paying attention?
I would have.
That's rude. Now, if it was an accident, I know your mother, your father, your grandmother, somebody taught you some type of manners. Did they not?
Yes.
So when you hit someone accidentally, is there something that we say in America?
Yes, there is. But
and what do you say?
You say, I'm sorry.
Did you ever say to her, I'm sorry?
She didn't give me the chance. Your
Okay,
Honor.
now you have a chance.
Now
you have a chance.
Oh. I'm sorry, Miss Lee, for hitting you with my bag of nuts.
I could have used that a little while ago, like about
Are you really sorry?
I am really sorry. You ran out of the game. You took off.
Now, you ran out. You didn't give him a chance to apologize because you said you ran out of the game, but I don't like him coming into the courtroom now talking about you should have been paying attention.
Well,
what evidence do you have of this therapy and the broken glasses? I mean, I'm sure your glasses probably cost $200 or $300. Like most of them these days, except my little cheap ones. I don't do that. What? What's this receipt for $250? What's that? What's that for?
Well,
the $250 receipt.
The glasses.
Oh, that's what the glasses cost.
Yeah, and the rest is for the therapy.
This big bag of peanuts.
That is the bag of peanuts.
This is
that
the
hit
type of
me,
bag
or
there
it's a
is?
bag. That's kind of like the.
It's
that
tied
is the
when you throw it.
That's a sack.
Well,
that is a very big
a
peanut
sack.
That's a sack of peanuts. That's not a bag of peanuts. My goodness.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Meblean.
We age, that's what happens. And thank God for wigs. We can cover it all up. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed of that, sweetheart.
And later.
With two hands, she grabs it from my right hand, she yanks it, and it hits the ground, and it's broken.
Is not accurate.
Your Honor, that's a $4,000 camera. Whatever this was an act of aggression, unneeded, and which could have been avoided.
Justice with Judge Meblean. You're watching Justice with Judge Meblean. We're back with the case of Whitney Lee, who is suing Bobby Reynolds for emotional distress and property damage.
That's a large sack of peanuts.
Yeah, and it hurts very badly.
I know, I can imagine. But I'm still trying to figure out how to knock your wig off, though.
It's a wonder it didn't knock me over completely.
Yeah, I see the therapy, but, you people bring me a bill from a therapist, but I never get a diagnosis from a therapist. I never get an explanation from the therapist that she's seeing me for this particular reason, and this is what caused it, and this is what, because you were already not going outside.
Well, I've had this problem for quite a while with thinning hair. And
Right. As we age, that's what happens. And thank God for wigs. We can cover it all up. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed of that, sweetheart. That's, life. And you know what you have to look at wearing a wig as? Ooh, I get a chance to change this look and be anybody I want to be at any time I want to be. Think like that. I die young and it stays thick. I get older and it thins out, or I die young and it stays thick. It's part of the aging process. Accept it. And now that you can buy those wigs, you can still have a thick head of hair. But the point is, you are already in the same state of not feeling good about yourself and not going out because of the thinning hair. So hitting you with the bag of peanuts didn't change that. And I don't know if the therapy is because of the bag of peanuts hit or because of what you're already going through. Now, you went to therapy for a couple of sessions. I'll give you the $500. Probably was a little traumatic for you because you're embarrassed and humiliated because it's on the Jumbotron.
Yes,
and everybody is looking at it and laughing.
And I still get teased about it, and it just hurts.
But you know what? Learn to laugh with them. Because it was a baseball game, and life happens. And if you just learn to laugh it off yourself, what you want to do is pretend that it happened to somebody else. That it was somebody else's face on that Jumbotron, somebody else's wig that came off. I bet you would have been laughing too. And he said, I'm sorry. And you get that little smirk off your face. You get it off right now. It's not funny. It hurt her feelings. It embarrassed her. It humiliated you. And I understand. You don't want certain things like that on the Jumbotron. Okay. $700 for the plaintiff.
Judge Meblean has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $700.
I didn't mean to hurt you, and I hope this money helps.
I appreciate that. I can use the money to help me get out of my shell more.
Coming up.
With two hands, she grabs it from my right hand, she yanks it, and it hits the ground, and it's broken.
Is not accurate.
Your Honor, that's a $4,000 camera. Whatever this was an act of aggression, unneeded, and which could have been avoided if you just confronted me calmly.
Justice with Judge Meblean. You're watching Justice with Judge Meblean. Photographer Sam Young is suing Nicole Tarley in the amount of $3,999.99. He says the defendant destroyed his camera. Ms. Tarley claims the plaintiff was taking pictures of girls on the beach without their permission.
This is the matter of Sam Young versus Nicole Tarley, and I'm advised, Mr. Young, that you are suing Ms. Tarley for $3,999.99. $1,299. That's an interesting amount. How'd you get to that amount?
Your Honor, it's a very expensive camera. It's a Canon Mark III DSLR. Your Honor, I'm a photographer, and I've taken thousands of pictures. I was minding my own business on the public beach, public space with my private property, which is very expensive. I have evidence right here to show the price tag, as well as the damages occurred during the incidents. I was minding my own business on the beach, taking photos, as it is my hobby. I take thousands of photos. I go to the city, I go to the mountains, I go to the parks and the beach. Your Honor, Nicole here...
Wait, what is this picture of?
That's the damage caused by Nicole.
Oh, so this is the camera.
Yes,
you're telling me how much it costs.
And that's not even including the zoom.
Okay. So you take pictures everywhere because you're a photographer?
Yes, ma'am. It's my hobby.
All right. And you were on the public beach?
Yes, I was on the public beach, minding my own business, when Nicole comes behind me, and she sternly says, "What are you doing?" And I'm shocked. See, I know Nicole. We were friends once.
Oh.
I asked her out once, and she declined, which I respected. And she started acting all weird, so I respected her space. I left. I gave her the space. But for her to all of a sudden come behind me and say, "What are you doing?" I was shocked. I was like, I'm taking photos. You know I'm a photographer.
Hold on a second.
And she says, "What are you doing?" I'm like shocked. So I'm just explaining. I'm taking photos. And she says, "Delete these now." And I'm just like, what do you mean delete these? I'm taking photos. I'm in a public place. I'm a photographer. And she continues. And I'm just threatened. And she's gathering a crowd. She's yelling, "Delete these." And she's yelling. And I'm threatened. And I'm just walking away because this is a very awkward situation, Your Honor. And I'm heading out. And she says, "I want that picture of me off." And I didn't know I had a picture of her. I took thousands of pictures, Your Honor.
How you didn't know you took a picture of her?
Your
You
Honor,
can't see what you're taking a picture
shot
of?
after shot after shot. Mass groups of people. As I was walking away, she grabbed my camera. I'm holding one bag in my left hand, and I'm holding the camera in my right. With two hands, she grabs it from my right hand, she yanks it, and it hits the ground, and it's broken.
That is not accurate.
Your Honor, that's a $4,000 camera. Whatever this was an act of aggression, unneeded, and which could have been avoided if you just confronted me calmly. Your Honor, this is a simple case. Public place, private property, and someone that destroyed my property. I'm not pressing criminal charges. All I want is reimbursement for the camera that you broke.
All right. Gotcha.
Very simple.
Real simple and easy. According to you.
Coming up.
Why would I have a display monitor of explicit photos? Your man, I was at the beach.
Closed captioning provided by... You're watching Justice with Judge Meblean. We're back with the case of Sam Young, who is suing Nicole Tarley for loss of property.
Let me hear from you, Miss Tarley.
I work at a frozen banana stand, and he was making very perverted jokes about what I could do with his frozen banana, and that
Hold on a second. Very perverted jokes is a conclusion.
Well,
what did he say?
Things such as, "Well, you should come try out my frozen banana," and like gesturing at...
Gesturing at what? You're an adult.
Area.
Say it. You know your private. You know the anatomy. We're all adults in here.
That is private.
Okay. So he said stuff like, "You should come and try out my frozen banana," while gesturing at his private parts.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What else?
And so I felt uncomfortable with that. I didn't, I expected him to stop coming into the concession stand because he did seem so offended. However, the day of the incident, I was in there with my coworker discussing the fact that we were going to go to the beach while he was in earshot. And after I went to the beach, I was enjoying my time with my friend Whitney, my coworker Whitney, and her little sister Sarah, who's 14 years old. And as we were swimming, Whitney pointed out that she saw Sam in the distance. So I went over to see, she said she saw his camera pointed at us, so I went over to see, is this really an issue? As I got behind him, I could see he has this camera equipment. It includes a computer screen where you can see all of the pictures that he is taking, and I could see that there were several pictures zoomed in on the cleavage and on the private areas of both myself, Sarah, the 14-year-old girl, and Whitney. And I felt very violated and uncomfortable with that.
So zoomed in on the cleavage, and what else did you say?
And the private areas of the 14-year-old was my biggest concern, but also myself and
while you were in the water or walking on the beach or what?
I mean, both. Honestly, we were in the water when we noticed the camera screen, but there were pictures of us both. Obviously, he had been there for a while taking pictures of our group.
Your Honor, if I may. She says I was at the beach.
Wait a minute. So you said he had a camera, the camera that he had, this Canon camera that costs all the money, he also had the computer part set up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you had the screen next to the camera somewhere in a chair there. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now, someone said to you, he's up there taking pictures of us, you walked up to see, you were able to see pictures of you, your girlfriend, and her little 14-year-old sister clearly on his screen of your private parts and upper parts of your body and cleavage, etc., which means that you had on a skimpy bathing suit?
We were wearing bikinis, all three of us. Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay, answer that.
Why would I have a display monitor of explicit photos? I was at the beach.
Okay, here's the problem.
She's saying she's over-exaggerating.
I don't need you to repeat to me that you were at the beach.
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. Promotional consideration provided by... You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean.
Here's the situation, Ms. Tarley. If he had sexually inappropriate pictures on the camera, as you say, you can't play police. And you can't take his stuff and just destroy it because of that.
But I was trying to make him wait for the police to come.
You had 3 friends there. You had 3 friends there.
Whitney was calling for the police, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so you do things to keep him from leaving, but you know him. You know who he is. You know his name. You know all that kind of stuff. Doesn't matter. You cannot destroy his property.
But I didn't destroy it.
I believed you up to the point when you denied destroying the property.
But I didn't destroy it. I had a hand on the camera just as he did. He's saying that I aggressively flung it on the ground.
Either one of you is telling the entire truth. You lied, and I think there were pictures of her on there. I don't believe it. I don't believe you when you said, I didn't realize I had taken pictures of her. You're lying. I don't believe you when you said I didn't grab his camera from him because he's trying to leave with the pictures and you wanted them deleted right now, not later, right now. So I'm sure and I believe that you did grab his camera, and in doing so it fell. Not intending to destroy it, but you wanted to get it from him. But in doing so it fell. You didn't have the right to do that. You can't take the law into your own hand when people are breaking the law. You cannot do that. So you have to pay him for his camera. You can't do that. Now that's it. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $4,000.
I can't believe that I have to pay you the $4,000 when you know that I didn't even break your camera.
Look, you broke the camera, and now you're going to pay for it, okay? Simple as that.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.